Good morning, PVFL. This is your host, John Gillespie, for your weekly podcast, Commissioner's Corner, The KAEP. Guys, here as always, I'm in my in-house studio. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning here in sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Guys, here on The KAEP, I have one promise for you, and that is to make you a much smarter fantasy player, yet a much dumber person. I'd like to give a special shout out to our producer, Pete Serpa, for always making this podcast possible. Without you, Peter, this would not be, so we thank you very much for that. But guys, this is Wild Card Weekend, and boy, was it a wild weekend indeed. We have a lot to discuss, guys. We will discuss the two playoff matchups, and look ahead to the divisional weekend. Exciting stuff, fellas. So let's begin with our game of the week. Not only is she the first woman to be in the PVFL, not only is she the first 6th seed to win a playoff game, and not only is she the first sub 500 team to win a playoff game, she clinched a playoff spot on the final week of the season. Guys, this run that Secret Squirrel is on is nothing short of spectacular, because she comes out on top 128.6 over the Chief 81.3. Anna, your top performer, had his best game of the year and chose the perfect time to do so. And Michael Thomas, 10 receptions, 117 yards, and a touchdown, in tune to 27.7 fantasy points. Like I said, guys, this was his best game of the year by far, and he couldn't have come at a better time. Anna's second best performer was Phillip Rivers, 319 yards and 2 touchdowns, in tune to 20.8 fantasy points. Guys, Phillip Rivers has been on a stretch, on a tear lately, and he looks to have a cake matchup next week as well. What about for you, Pedro? Your top performer was Devontae Freeman, 91 rushing yards and a touchdown, in tune to 15.1 fantasy points. And your runner-up performer was Travis Kelce, 7 catches and 74 yards, in the tune of 14.4 fantasy points. Really was a heartbreak for Travis Kelce, because he had 2 touchdowns called back. So it could have been a much bigger day for Travis Kelce. But in spite of that, I don't think it would have been enough, because Anna, Secret Squirrel, won by 46 points. Congratulations, Anna, on that astounding victory. So with that, you move on to the divisional round. Anna, congratulations. And the last game on the tally as far as playoff implications was Belichick Yourself versus Peter and I Love TDs. Guys, it only took 3 years, but finally, Coach Gillespie has secured his first playoff victory, and he couldn't have picked a more established, a more decorated opponent to do it against. The reigning champion, the 2-time finalist in the PVFL, the most decorated opponent in the PVFL, Pete Serpa. So John, the monkey, is finally off of your back. You come out on top, 159.1 to 72.9. John, your top performer was Le'Veon Bell. Guys, Le'Veon Bell rung that bell 3 times, in the tune of 48 yards and 3 total touchdowns, of course with a plethora of catches, #analysis, in the tune of 39.5 fantasy points. That's right, guys. Le'Veon Bell is a stud, and he proved himself in week 14. And for Belichick Yourself's runner-up, it was DeAndre Hopkins, 11 catches, 149 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the tune of 35.9 fantasy points. And for Pete, your top performer was Dez Bryant, 3 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown to the tune of 16.3 fantasy points. I'm sorry, that was your runner-up. And your top performer was Giovanni Bernard, 62 yards, a plethora of catches, #analysis, in the tune of 19 fantasy points. This was a tough week for you, Pete. My condolences to that, to get a goose egg from Jimmy Graham and, to only get 8 points from Kirk Cousins. I know that was a stinger. But hey, that's fantasy football. That's the way it goes sometimes. But Peter, like I said, you are a decorated opponent. Nothing to hang your hat on. You lost David Johnson, week 1, so it was a tough road. For you to actually make the playoffs was amazing in itself. Goes to show how astute you are as a fantasy football player, how intelligent you are, and your worth as a GM and coach. Congratulations, sir. Have an amazing offseason, and we look forward to doing this again next year. But with the win, Belichick yourself advances. But guys, everything's all sunshine and rainbows for Coach Belichick yourself, right? Wrong. He lost his stud in heartbreaking fashion in Carson Wentz. The guy, left the game, 291 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he, tore his ACL, so he's done for the year, which is heartbreaking. So that makes makes Belichick yourself's road a little harder, because when you lose a stud like that, it's always very difficult. So with that being said, guys, let's look ahead to our divisional round and take a look at the bracket and see the matchups. So with the victory, Secret Squirrel advances, and she faces Austin Bennett and What's Cooking. That should be a very intriguing matchup. That's a toss-up, a coin flip. And for the other game, Orange Crush versus Belichick yourself, guys, both of these games are toss-ups. Anything can happen. So with that being the case, it should be very intriguing and very exciting to see who comes out on top, guys. I mean, literally, both these games, you don't know what's going to happen. Belichick yourself looks strong, but he doesn't have his ace quarterback, so that weakens him a little bit. Juan Guzman's been a stud all year. And he has actually beat Coach Gillespie 2 in a row. He's 2-0 versus Belichick yourself this year, and the latter is 0-2. So can Juan make it 3 straight victories over Coach Gillespie? We'll see. Can Belichick yourself finally get the monkey off his back for the second week in a row and defeat an opponent he hasn't beaten at all this year? We will see. Can Secret Squirrel do the unthinkable and make it to the finals with a 5-8 record? Can that actually happen? We will see. Or will Austin Bennett cement himself as Rookie of the Year and get a finals berth? Actually, guys, another fun fact, Secret Squirrel and What's Cooking are both rookies, so the winner of this game probably will get Rookie of the Year. So not only is there a title berth on the line for Austin and Anna, but there's also Rookie of the Year honors on the line as well. So, guys, we have a lot to look forward to this week. So, with that being said, I'm going to close it here, guys, with this note. This has been a very special year for the PVFL. And the divisional round will not disappoint. All right, guys, this is your host, John Gillespie, for your weekly podcast, Commissioner's Corner. The divisional round is here and upon us. Remember, we have a Thursday night game. We also have 2 Saturday night games this week. So keep your eyes open, peeled, and focused on the divisional round. Austin, Juan, do your homework. Anna, do your homework. Anything is possible. This is where dreams happen and dreams come true, guys. Again, I gave a shout out to Pete Serba for making this podcast possible, as always.